Welcome back to the show, The Lunch Break, KDUS AM 1060, 480-864-1060. That's how you can join the show. You can also join us on YouTube. Just search KDUS AM 1060 over there and hop into the live comments. And make sure you download the KDUS AM 1060 app so you can take the show and the station with you on the go. Maybe you're not in your car all day and you want to listen to the great programming that we have here on the station. Well, you can do so via the KDUS AM 1060 app. You can also listen live on KDUSAM1060.com. The Cardinals lost their second in a row yesterday, falling 23-22 to the Minnesota Vikings. And I think, mainly because I got into this with some people on Twitter yesterday, that there is a conversation that some people say shouldn't be had. Some people, I put myself into this camp, believe it's valid to have this conversation about Kyler Murray and his performance yesterday in the game. Now, let me make something abundantly clear at the top, and I'll probably reiterate it a couple of times throughout this conversation. But let's just set the base level here. I don't blame yesterday's loss on Kyler Murray. There's a lot that went wrong in that game yesterday. The defense failed them in the fourth quarter and in the second half. I didn't love the coaching style of taking the points all the time and just trusting that the defense would hold once again. When we've said on this show that this defense it's kind of smoke and mirrors a little bit, just in terms of the players. It's not smoke and mirrors in terms of the performance. They've been performing well over the last month. They're not, getting away with stuff, but the players, the talent level, it just didn't feel like it was sustainable. It's why we pushed so hard for them to do something at the deadline. The defense failed them. I didn't love the game planning. The offense as a whole, and it isn't on Kyler. There's also some Drew Petzing conversations to be had about some of the play calling and decision making. There's just a lot, right? It's not all on one person yesterday's game. You had a 19-6 lead. That's in large part because Kyler Murray, right? Just took what the defense gave him, put the team in position. They didn't score touchdowns, but they settled for field goals. And when they needed it, he got the touchdown to Marvin Harrison Jr. to take the 19-6 lead. Okay. When you have a franchise quarterback, and what I mean by that is when you have a quarterback that you build around, when you have a quarterback who is the focal point of what you do, when you have a quarterback that you're not looking at the draft, you're not looking at free agents, you're not looking to explore trade, this is your guy. This is the person that you are going to go down with, right? We're going to win with this person or we're going to go down trying. When you have that franchise quarterback comes through in moments like yesterday. That despite having the 19-6 lead, despite blowing the 19-6 lead, despite trailing 23-22, a quarterback who is a franchise quarterback, who is the long-term guy for your team, he's supposed to come through in that moment. He is supposed to do enough to get the special teams unit on the field to attempt the field goal. Now, who knows what's going to happen? I don't know if Chad Ryland would make it. He missed one earlier in the game from outside of, I think it was like 45 yards. So it's not a guarantee. But a franchise quarterback does the work to put his team in that position. Because I don't think anybody is going to mistake the quarterback that played on the other side of the field yesterday as a franchise quarterback. I don't think anybody is going to confuse Sam Darnold with Josh Allen or Lamar Jackson or Jalen Hurts or Joe Burrow or Patrick Mahomes. Sam Darnold's not going to be confused with any of those guys. But you know what Sam Darnold did when he got the ball with 3 minutes to go, down 22-16? You know what Sam Darnold did? He led his team down the field in a gotta-have-it moment. The game's over if they don't do anything there. The game is over. He took his team down the field in a gotta-have-it moment and put his team ahead. He's not being mistaken with a franchise quarterback, yet he got the job done. And I know Kyler Murray in his career has 13 game-winning drives in the fourth quarter or overtime. Those past 13 don't matter. What mattered was yesterday. What mattered is the season's in the balance. The division's in the balance. The playoffs are on the line. Making sure that you don't have a 2-game losing streak is on the line. A game that was yours for the taking with a 19-6 lead. You've watched that slip away. This is your chance to redeem all of that, to pick up your defense, who's been great for the last month or so. Your chance to pick them up for just allowing that drive to take the lead. And you didn't need 6. You didn't need to go the distance. You had to get yourself into field goal range. And Kyler Murray yesterday couldn't do that. Am I blaming him for the loss yesterday? Absolutely not. Am I saying that Kyler Murray needs to be benched? Absolutely not. Am I saying that the Cardinals need to think long and hard about Kyler Murray being their future quarterback? No, I am not ready to have that conversation yet. But I do think the door opened yesterday. You got to have that drive. If you're the big boy franchise quarterback of your team, you got to have that drive. You got to have that moment. You got to pick your defense up. You got to find a way to make the plays to at least put the field goal kicker on the field with a chance to win the football game. If he misses it, so be it. But you put your team in the position. Instead, it was a disaster of a drive for the Cardinals. Couldn't get anything going. Couldn't even flirt with the idea of getting into field goal range. They couldn't get it done. And so, I think I said in one of the first shows that we did, way back in October, I said, we've put to bed the conversation about Kyler Murray's future. We no longer have that conversation. He's proven that he's the guy. He's proven that he's taken to this offense. He's proven that he can run this system and that he is somebody that can lead this team to victories. And I still, ultimately, as we sit here today on December 2nd, I still believe that. But the door opened yesterday. Because it wouldn't happen every time, but Joe Burrow would have that drive. Patrick Mahomes would have that drive. Josh Allen would have that drive. I saw, and maybe this is the biggest indicator of why I'm so frustrated at what happened yesterday. It didn't lead to a victory. Bryce Young had that drive. Bryce Young led the Carolina Panthers, who are out. They're toast. Their season does not matter. He led them on that drive. He tied up the football game. He gave his team a chance to win in overtime. Kyler Murray couldn't do that yesterday. And I'll give you an example of somebody who's done this to the extreme. Aaron Rodgers is known for doing this. The Jets have had the ball with a chance to win in the exact situation that Kyler Murray was in yesterday. The ball, less than 2 minutes, chance to win the football game. Aaron Rodgers, 0-5 this season in those moments. You think that's a large part of the reason why the Jets are 3-9 this season? Because they can't come through in those moments? Sam Darnold did it the week prior in overtime for the Vikings. Sam Darnold did it yesterday against the Cardinals. They didn't have a lead the entire game yesterday. They were battling back from the word go. Now, it was 3-0, 6-3, 9-6. I mean, it was not an insurmountable lead, but down 19-6, Sam Darnold locked in and took this team down the field multiple times and won the football game. Kyler Murray got the ball, trailing for the first time in the game, and the offense folded in on themselves. That's a problem. Again, not blaming Kyler Murray for the loss. Kyler Murray is not the reason why the Cardinals lost yesterday 23-22, or he's not the overarching reason why they lost yesterday. But it is incredibly fair to talk about Kyler Murray not coming through in that moment. It's incredibly fair to say, if you want to be taken seriously as a franchise, if you want to be taken seriously as the quarterback, as a franchise quarterback of a team, you got to have those moments. You got to have those moments in seasons that matter. Because, listen, we'll use the Bryce Young analogy again. It's kind of easy to do that when you're 3-8, 3-9, and you stink. You got nothing to play for. If you throw the back-breaking interception, who cares? You already stink anyway. It doesn't really matter, right? You suck as an organization anyway. So if you throw the pick six, everyone's just going to be like, that's what we expect. If you do it, everyone's going to be like, of course you do it now because we're out of it and the season doesn't matter. It means a lot more when you do it in games like yesterday. And the Cardinals couldn't do that. Kyler Murray couldn't do that. So we thought this conversation was put to bed. I don't think so. I think we've taken it out of the attic, like that old box of clothes, like I mentioned earlier. It's back out. Now, it's just a box. It's sitting on the floor. We haven't gone through it yet. We haven't opened it up. But A box that we thought was away up in the attic. We found it yesterday. We found it. And we took it out. And maybe we'll get to it next week. Maybe we'll get to it in 2 weeks. Or maybe we'll decide, you know what? I don't even care what's in the box. Put it back up. Put it back up in the attic. That might be the conversation we have. But you know what? Now it's a gotta-have-it game on Sunday. Because you fall to 6-7. You fall 2 games back of Seattle when they have the tiebreaker against you. You would be losers of 3 in a row. We called the season's over for the Bengals, for the 49ers. I'll say it here on a Monday. They lose on Sunday to Seattle, their season's toast. So that's the pressure you put on yourself. And I saw yesterday a team that in that moment didn't necessarily handle the pressure the way that they're supposed to.